YouTube, how's it going? Welcome to my bike project. This is my motorcycle some of you guys are asking about, and you wanted me to do a video on my bike, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to put this tripod down. Okay, this is my project bike that I bought to work on. Literally, I bought it to rebuild the engine. And the problem whenever you try to find a bike to rebuild is that usually someone's bought it to rebuild it already, and they've taken it apart, and the pieces are everywhere, and you don't have a lot of options to figure out how to put it back together other than looking at diagrams. I wanted to avoid that whole thing, and I wanted to have a bike that was complete but needed to be rebuilt, so I had something to do with my hands, a project to work on, and so this is what I got. It is a 1972 Kawasaki Enduro. It's a right there, you can see right in there, 1972 Kawasaki Enduro. You can't really see it that well, but that's what it is. It's a F7. It's a 175, so it's pretty small, pretty chill. And a couple of you guys were asking about this bike, so I thought I'd do a video and we talk about it. Look at this little storage compartment. What do you think you store in there? Like it's pretty interesting. What's wrong with my focus here? Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. Storage compartment. I guess you could keep tools in there, sandwich, a ham sandwich, keep it warm. So, plane. Okay, so I guess let's just start from the beginning. When I found this, it had the gas tank on it and the yellow front fender that's over there. You can't really see it, but it's over there. I had that fender. The fender was on the front. It looked kind of like a dirt bike. It's got this weird plastic fender on the back. Those are not the original fenders, so I took the front one off. I'm going to get the original old back one. I took the gas tank off. That's not the original gas tank, I don't think. And I started looking at the components. I was right away, when I started taking the engine apart, I was missing my kick. So I was missing the kickstart. I was missing the carburetor. I was missing the fuel pump, which is in here. I can take it off and show you guys. And I was missing this housing and that throttle grip. This throttle grip right here. And I was missing this shifter lever. So I didn't really know it was missing the carburetor and the fuel pump when I bought it. I thought it had them in there. So I kind of had a little bit of a moment where I was worried because those old parts, they can be like $500 on eBay, and just for the carburetor, it could be like $500 for that old one. So I basically took Google search, and I found there was a junkyard near me. And normally junkyards, if you know junkyards, normally they have basically just cars and maybe a few motorcycles. But I found a motorcycle junkyard, so specifically for motorcycles. And I basically went, and they had a whole bunch of these Kawasaki's these F7s. This is a 72, but I actually found a 74 that was perfect. And I had to take apart the air intake right here. It was this box, this old box right here. And this old box basically fit in there, and it had a really old style filter. It's over there, you can see it. The old style filter basically was so expensive to replace. They're very expensive filters, so instead of trying to just buy those old filters, I decided to replace this entire section. So I'm going to put a new air filter down there on top of this housing. So this was cracked on the one I got, or piece was destroyed. So when I was at the junkyard, I found this, the rubber hosing, I found the carburetor, I found a fuel pump, I found the kick lever, I found the shifter. Actually, the shifter I found on eBay, and I ordered it. And then I got this throttle assembly, which runs all the way to the carburetor, so it was connected. And this is a little bit kind of messed up, corroded here, but it still functions, so it should be fine. I think it should be fine. It still functions from like this part. If you look at this. I just fixed that. So that's what I just did. I just put the carburetor in and linked it to this throttle assembly. So basically this whole piece, this carburetor and these cables, I had to run up and relink into this I need to figure out how to attach this better. I need a brake lever. Front brake lever needs to go here. So I'm missing a few things still. I need a front brake lever. I need the air filter. I'm going to order an air filter and try to fit it on here. I need a battery. It's a really small battery. And that's about it. But the engine was frozen. So when I took apart these parts and I put the kicker on and I finally pushed down on it, it was so frozen. I had to come around here, and yeah, that's pretty much where that is. We're working on that, and it's been a project for sure. Afraid I'm gonna have to take it apart and rebuild the whole thing, but I'm trying to avoid that. So yeah, that's the plan right there. Okay, so you guys asked about this bike, and I'm rebuilding it, obviously, and to avoid having to take apart the entire engine, because I already took apart the carburetor on the side, and this is frozen, the engine's frozen, and to avoid rebuilding the entire thing, I saw someone suggest putting this Marvel mystery oil in here. Basically, just a turkey baster and a few drops of this in up here at the top in the spark plug hole, and I let it sit there for a day, and it didn't do much. I let it sit for a whole week, and I just kept putting a little bit more in there every time it drained out. Not too much. You can't fit too much, it'll pour out, but I let it sit for a whole week, and it just broke free. So this is actually moving now, which is perfect because it was so frozen. So I'm going to keep putting this oil in and keep spinning and feeding it until it goes smoothly all the way around. But I bought this to rebuild it and get it working, so I'm glad that we got this unfrozen, and we might be able to move on to working on other components now. So we'll continue with the overview of the bike, and we'll look at what else needs to be done. But this is a big part, this is a big step. So super excited about this. We're going to keep basically putting this fluid in. So I'll probably put maybe, this is really toxic, so you want to be really careful. You should probably use gloves, not get it on your fingers or skin. Probably only going to put like that much in. Put it in the dauber, and then I just feed it into the spark plug hole up here. It can't take that much, it's gonna pour out. So basically, once that's in there, I can see it in there. I'm just gonna basically take this. I have a bigger socket wrench, but I didn't have the right socket for it, so I couldn't put that much torque on it. But you wanna be careful not to torque this too much. You want to give it nice, smooth amounts of force until you can get it to spin and turn freely. You can see it's pouring out. I don't want to make a mess. Move this. It's going to pour out because we're turning basically the entire internal engine mechanisms manually and trying to get it to work that fluid all the way through. You can see it's got a bunch of gunk in there, but we're just going to keep doing this until this is not doing that load of friction. It's nice and smooth. All freaking yes! This is the best part. So we broke this free. It's so loose. It's so smooth. Now, when I go and I push, even if I just push on the kickstart of my hand, you can see, ooh, it's turning the crank. So that right there is how you unfreeze an engine, boys and girls. Didn't even have to take it all the way apart. Just when I push down on the Kickstarter, it's actually gonna push the crank around. So basically have that mystery oil sitting in there. We've been turning it continuously on days where you have some warmth out here, or just any time really, just kind of trying to get that smooth rotation. After we get that smooth rotation on that, I'm missing one more part too. It's called a Fuelpetcock, and it goes from the gas tank, which would go right here. The Fuelpetcock comes out. It's just like a switch for the gas, and the gas runs down into the fuel pump right here. And this is an oil reserve. So this oil reserve combines with the gas. It's a 2-stroke. So it has oil and gas that combine. And then hypothetically, with all the parts and everything, you know, we should be able to get this to run. It's a very light bike. It's very easy to kind of like put on the back of the Rover here. So that's the plan. The plan is to put it on the back of the Rover to get one of those single trailers for a motorcycle, and put it right there. And then we're good to go. But out there, get out there for a little romping in the desert or camping or something. I think I'm going to paint a different color, and I'm going to get, I'm trying to make it a little cafe racer-ish. So I'll basically get the original fender. I might fill this out and try to see if I can put a little bit more seat on here. I might turn the seat tan, even though I like this black. It's not too bad of condition. I'm going to get a leather bag to go over the oil reserve, so it's a little leather bag right there. And then we'll probably paint the yellow something, I'm not sure what. But this is the bike I bought, so I got a pretty good deal on it, I think. And it's basically a project for me to work on. I spent $400 on the bike, and basically spent, I think, $200 in parts so far, random things just here and there. So we're about $600 in, and I saw one on Facebook just here locally going for like $1,200, $1,400. It was listed for $1,500, but he had it down to like $12. I think he sold it for $11. So potentially, this is another form of investments with, you know, your hands as tools. So basically, getting an opportunity to work on this bike, ride it for a little while if I want to, and then maybe sell it for double what I put into it. So there you go, and that's the plan. So that's pretty much my hopes, is to be able to fix it. If I can get it to run, that'd be awesome. Step one, get it to run. So I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on. I still need to get the few other parts I told you about, and I still need to put them on. Definitely need to clean this bad boy out more and get it to smoothly turn, and then we'll see what goes on from there. Cheers. Thanks a bunch. Later.
Brought to you by